Hey everyone, this is Red with RedDragonLeo.com, and today is it's 1:39 in the morning, so I guess technically it is Thursday morning, the 7th, October the 7th, 2010. And we're looking at a chart here from Cobra's blog, and I really don't want much to say. I'm kind of speechless. I guess maybe I'll be throwing mud on my face, just like the chart pattern guy said in his previous post, yesterday's post. Actually, not yesterday's as in the 6th, but as in the one for the 5th, October 5th. He said something about mud in his face because he was calling for a wave 3 down. Now, most of you, if you'd had a chance to read my blog, you know that I did say that I thought that we would go up on Tuesday and Wednesday, but I didn't think that we'd go up like we did today. This was just 100% manipulation. There's no reason for it. It's just flat out robbery to the bears, to the traders, to any of the traders. This here, you look at this and you can clearly see this was a consolidation that failed. Bottom line was it failed, it fell down, it put in a bear flag. The next day it should have dropped down. There's no question about that. It should have dropped down, and then it should have rallied back up. What should have happened, as you can see, it was already oversold here as it went down. So it was the bear, so it went down and it did the sideways consolidation, putting in a bear flag. So it should have put in a lower low equal to about that right there. So maybe go down here and retest these bottoms. That's what it should have done. At the same time, we should have had a higher histogram bar on the negative side here. It should have worked its way up positive. It should not have done what this was right here. This was the federal government, the gangsters, Bernanke, Timothy Geithner, Obama, you know, all the gangsters there in manipulating the market. They came in there with that POMO money, bought up the treasuries with it, and you know, the money was injected into the market. I don't know exactly how the system works, but I just know that every time they have one of these, it rallies, just like I showed you in the last video I just did. Talked about it 7 times in a row. This is the 8th time, and then today, Wednesday, we just basically traded sideways. So basically, they just held up the market the whole with the second injection of the POMO market, because this was the massive run up with it. And I believe I read on Zero Hedge that it was about 5 or 6 million or billion that they put in here. 5 or 6 billion, I guess, would be right. And then on this day, today, it was only like 2.5 billion or something like that. So, but as you can see, this massively made the 60-minute chart overbought, and it is ready to roll down into negative territory. However, don't get excited if you're a bull. I'm sorry, if you're a bear. Don't get excited if you're a bear, because typically when you get something that's overbought like this, it doesn't just like fall down here and put in a really low one. It typically kind of puts in 1 or 2 smaller towers, which are what you call a negative divergence, similar to what you're seeing over here at this date. You know, it goes up massively, goes down, and then back up, goes down. Finally, it finally goes down into negative territory. But that does not mean that the actual market will go down into negative territory. As you can clearly see here, when it was doing all this, it was just chopping sideways. It was working its way, and it did finally go down a little bit, and then it finally just worked its way back up. So that's where you get the divergence, where the histogram towers are going down, where it's actually losing strength and power, but it is managing to eke its way up higher. That's what's happening. And back over to here. So up, sideways consolidation, bull flag. That means it should pop tomorrow. But again, this chart here is looking like it's wanting to roll down negative. Whether or not it does or not, if it does, it might not just roll, but just a small amount. Or it might not roll at all. It just might simply just go up here and kind of put in a second histogram tower that's smaller than this one. And the reason I suspect that that's most likely the case is based upon the 30-minute chart, which here on the shorter time frame, the 12, 26, and 9 is oversold and looking to roll back up. So it should roll back up, put in a smaller tower here, and then roll over into the close, which means the longer term one right here, which is the 65, 90, and 12, should just kind of go up and then finally work its way back down. So when it finally rolls over and then this one gets up here and rolls over, maybe until the close tomorrow, then, you know, if they roll over and match up with the 60, then, you know, so that could pop our little bear flag, or bull flag, I'm sorry. And I don't know how high it's going to go. You know, I don't know. You know, if it measures up to this amount, then it'll go up here to 1170 or something. If not, then maybe it'll just hit a double top here and you know, give up. You know, so I don't know. There's no more POMO money in there, but that doesn't mean that the government is not still fully in control. But just the way the charts are lined up, you know, basically after a big run-up like this and a bull flag being put in, it's most likely going to play out. So we're likely to get a pop in the morning area and then hopefully sell off into the close if all goes well. 15-minute chart, same thing as the 30 pretty much. Oversold, working its way up. I expect it to put in a lower tower and then roll back down. So come up here, put in a lower tower, or lower tower and lower histogram, not histogram, but moving averages. Go up here and roll over. So you can see where it's about right now, about 50 something. And it should work its way up here to 80 and finally roll over. So that allows it to roll over into the close tomorrow. Now, does that necessarily mean that we're going to get a sell-off? No. Absolutely not. That doesn't mean that the price is going to go down. Just because it'll roll over doesn't mean the price will go down. If they want to keep this thing up, they will keep it up. Yeah, I know it's crooked. Yeah, I know that the daily should have rolled over here. It already had a, I guess you'd call it a negative divergence where we had a smaller histogram tower here. So we had, and actually, if you looked really close, you could see three of them. Actually, if you look down this one here, for example, you see one here, then one here, and now we got a fourth one. So it's like four, but it's kind of hard to tell, but you get the idea there. We should have rolled over here. We should have. This was clear interference with the government, the gangsters, the banksters. Take them out, publicly shoot them. That's what I'd like to do to them. Weekly chart. As you can see, it's still massively overbought, banging its head on this major trend line here. This thing really, there's everything in these charts say that this thing should roll over and tank. When I say tank, I mean a 30, 40, 50 point down day on the SPX, which is 300 to 500 points over the course of tomorrow and Friday. It should do that. It should. Will it? I don't know. You know, you get frustrated. You want to beat your head on the wall because the charts don't work anyway. You just throw them out the door sometimes. I mean, they work 80, 90% of the time, and then you get these times like this when the government comes in and just rapes all the bears. And that's exactly what they've done. So, 5-minute chart, I don't pay a lot of attention to this except maybe for entry points or exit points, but obviously you can see it's ready to pop back up too. So 5 and 15 and 30 are ready to pop back up. That's what leads me to believe that the morning session might go up a little bit. But again, it's fighting the downtrend being pushed upon it from the daily, getting ready to roll over. Again, looking at the daily, getting ready to roll over here, just trading sideways. But it certainly doesn't have a lot of up momentum left. It's simply got a lack of any momentum, put it that way. No, it's not really selling pressure, I would call it yet, but it's not buying pressure either. And of course the 60 is ready to roll down. So the 60 is a little bit more powerful than the 30 and the 10 and the 15. So that's why I think it'll be a little fighting action here. And I don't expect it to go too far, but certainly could go back up here and retest this and go up a little higher as to fulfill the bull flag. Possibly there's some gap I didn't see. I think when I was looking prior back here somewhere on a different chart, I thought I seen 118.18 or something, but I don't know. That's quite a ways away. I don't know if we're going to get there or not to fill a gap. Maybe not. This is on Cobra's chart. You can see we overbought again on the daily chart. Should roll over. Will it? I don't know. And the VIX oversold down here in oversold conditions. I mean, you know, I guess it could do one of these or one of these, or it could do one of these and just rip roar back up tomorrow. If it's just what I'd like to see, you know. So according to Cobra, I believe he said that tomorrow has odds 70-some% chance of an up day because the VIX was lower and so was the market. So, but you know, he'll take that with a grain of sand as well, just like I will, because I mean, do you really call this a lower day when it's really like a spinning top? It could have just been an inch above and been positive or below. It's not like a big down day, you know. If it had been a big or decent size down day and the VIX would have been down too, then that would have been a lack of fear. Then yeah, certainly I'd say we have an up day. But you know, I'd say if you ask Cobra, I'd say, you know, he'd probably actually would just give it 50-50 odds of it being an up day just because of that particular historical pattern of the VIX down and the market down. Next day is usually up 70-some% of the time. But anyway, I guess I just about covered everything. So, you know, you look at this 30-minute chart again, you can see it should pop up. How high, I don't know. This trend line that chart pattern guy's drawn in here, that looks like a good spot. You know, who knows? You know, that's certainly going to be some resistance. So that's a little bit higher than 1162. So go up there, take out any stops, and then hopefully roll over to the close. We need it to break, you know, this big long rising trend line before. Basically, we need to break these lows. If we don't break these lows from the bear case, who knows how long they can keep this thing going. This is just, it's ridiculous. So many of my bear friends have lost money, I'm sure, trading this. They don't tell me, but I know that some of them have, because this is just BS. This market should have rolled over. There's no reason for it not to, other than manipulation. And, you know, you could say, well, don't fight the Fed. Well, but who in their right mind is going to go long at this point? You know, all the charts were saying it's ready to roll over. It was 95 to 98% done with the rally, and now I think we're 99% done with the rally. So who in their right mind would go long at this point? You just don't do it. You just either stay in cash or you go short. I mean, you go long by here, or even maybe on a pullback here, you maybe go long, but you know, because you can still see this moving up. So even at this point, you can still see it moving up. So you could go long, but you don't go long here when this thing is topped and ready to roll over. And so it's just manipulation. It's sickening. It's sickening. It's destroying America. So anyway, gang, that's enough bitching. I'm tired, and I got this cold bugging me, and it's getting chilly now. I don't know, 55 degrees out here tonight. So feels good though. Actually, I'm glad to see it though. Good luck tomorrow. See everyone in the chat room.